Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, where it's time to talk some tech, and I'm very happy to have the people who know how to do exactly that. From Transcend, I've got, first of all, Orlin Wetzker, who is here. He's a CEO and innovation architect, and with him, co-founder Missy Wetzker as well. And then I'm excited to have Jeff Chamberlain here from EMS Solutions. It's great to have you all. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so first and foremost, what the heck is an innovation architect?
So as I was thinking about what my title should be, one of the things I do is, as people come with ideas, I really help them to expand their ideas and make them so that they'll be marketable as we're pulling the products together. So, and also within our company, we try and be innovative with how we're approaching the markets. So it's my reminder that I'm always trying to make sure that we're doing things that are fresh, things that are new, and things that will change the market.
Yeah, for sure. Now the market is changing dramatically. We see this really with the next, well, not even this, the next generation. 3 generations down from us are some kids, little kids that are coming up with some pretty great ideas, especially now that they've been given, training in how to program things. Yeah, they're given little boards that you can do stuff with.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you've got them creating new things. You've got the next generation up that is already arguably doing their own.
Right.
And then you've got the guys that are sort of just below our level in generation, and they're deeply rooted in some of the older stuff, but also being innovative.
Absolutely.
So you've got all kinds of different levels of innovation happening. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think that we see things like in our market, we're focused mostly on electronics and building those pieces, and it changes literally every year what's capable. Now we have, with the whole maker revolution, there's people who are buying all of these very, very small computers, the single board computers that are they're almost free. You got the Raspberry Pi Zero, which $5, and you've got Chinese knockoffs which are in that same range, and it has to change the way we approach how we help our customers with prototyping and things like that, because now it doesn't make sense to even start with a custom board. Do you just pull these together? The Raspberry Pi, I think they're saying that about 40% of the inventory of Raspberry Pis are actually going into real products.
Right, so you almost don't need to do anything to them. You can let them go on their own, or you can build a board to do what it does.
Right, and especially when you're in low quantity production, it kind of changes the game. Once you get into higher quantities, then it makes more sense to be customized with what you're doing. And so we have to rethink what we're doing because of all of the changes that are happening, and that's, I don't think it's going to change. I think the pace is going to continue to accelerate, and those people who can continue to learn and can continue to adapt to the new changes, those are the people who are going to excel.
You just said it though. We got to adapt, and the folks like us that are a little bit older, that's not as easy as it sounds.
No, it's not. And if you look back, so we were just talking last night about self-driving cars. Yeah. And one of the things, as we were talking about that, I was referencing the fact that when elevators went to be automated, it took, they said it took like about 50 years for people to actually accept an automated elevator.
Without somebody driving it?
And I know we think about that now and we think that's completely crazy, but people were actually being killed in elevators because the force when they were going up and down if you weren't all the way in the elevator. And so now we're thinking about things like self-driving cars, where we're putting the car in charge of driving, and it's just a really scary thing. So
see, now that I've done it, okay, so but maybe that's the buy-in, right? You got to do it. You got to know what it's like. Now that I've driven it, I've been in a Tesla and let it drive me around. I'm like, I think I could like this a lot. But I think there's some unintended consequences that we should certainly talk about, and I think a lot of people aren't realizing that that means that it may be out of your hands soon and you may not get a choice.
That's right.
That's something that's not too far in the future. But I'm really excited about the fact that curriculum for kids now involves a lot of this stuff, which means that we're going to kick it up another level at some point to something new. Have you got any idea? Have you any feeling for what is next? Because that's what I really want to know here. I'm trying to get some stock tips. You got anything? You got any idea what's next?
So this is what I broadcast, and I was actually at a disruptive technology seminar earlier on this week, and this is what I say: we have been in a centralized production economy for a long time. The Industrial Revolution put everything to where we had bigger and bigger plants that did everything, right?
Yeah.
Right now we think if we want to make something, we go to China where they have these big factories and super low cost of labor, and that's why we're doing that. So all of our products come from China. Well, I think we are moving to where we can now get to more of a distributed manufacturing economy, more of a distributed economy. When you look at what renewable energy is going to do to us, what solar and battery-powered energy is going to do for us, it's going to allow what we need to be made closer and closer to where we live, and that's a big thing, and it's a big change in the economy.
It levels the playing field a little bit.
Absolutely. I think it makes it to where things like terrorism become less of an issue for us, because right now when you're centralized, you could hit one spot and it could affect a whole bunch of people. Now you have to be much more spread out, and that's a huge impact both economically and socially what happens.
Well, it's going to change the economic, the GDP of a lot of countries that we're going to be feeling that, I think, as we start to do more of what we're doing with Jeff, which is what I want to switch our attention to him for a minute, and we'll get to Missy in a moment here. But Jeff, you guys are the company in our backyard that is doing exactly what you said, centralized and creating product. It's amazing. I've been up to EMS. I've been in this place, and I know how fast you guys are growing, and it is hard to wrap my head around. I mean, I've been in this industry for a long time too. I played there. I've been a VP of an electronics firm. I know what it's like. I'm amazed at the level of innovation that you guys are seeing every day, and you're out there trying to pull in that new stuff to start making the boards they need and all the equipment they need.
Right.
Talk about that. That's amazing.
Exactly. And our company's been around for 17 years, and just that. You just think to what's changed in that period of time is it's huge. And even just more recently, we're updating our lines continually.
Yeah.
We've had 4 lines. We've swapped one out to update it a little further. Just all to stay in pace with the world or try to exceed what's going on.
I'm going to share the CEO's story a little bit because I know it. Okay, so there's 2 areas that you may know if you watch the show that I've been involved in. And racing is one of them, auto racing, and the other is electronics and aviation. And with that, Dave and I have had some synergy there. And so here's the EMS guy. He starts out in auto racing and realizes that, hey, I got a buddy who wants me to help him out with the company, and he ends up purchasing it, as I understand it, and starts creating just a little bit of electronics. Is that right?
Well, he actually
just
started
it himself. He started it himself.
He was trying to come up with a product to enhance his racing.
Racing, that's right.
And he couldn't find anyone to do it.
So he just built it.
I'm going to do it on my own.
And then people start coming to him asking to make other stuff, and the next thing you know, he's got a company.
Right.
Crazy story.
Grown from 5 employees 17 years ago in a little tiny place in Roy to 75 in a 95,000 square foot building.
Wow. It's just hard to realize that this is the pace that we're growing at. But that's when we talk about Transcend innovations. That's why you guys are happy with that. That's ideal, right? So Missy, talk about that. When you guys started this, did you ever think it was going to jump this fast?
Yes and no. It's gone really well, really fast, but I know that we know that there's a big need for what we do. It was just letting people know that we're here. And so
Wow.
that's why we're doing Tech Tank.
Exactly. Now I want to take a quick break, come back and talk about Tech Tank a little bit, talk a little more about EMS and some of the things that you guys are doing up there just north of us, and all of that's coming up, so you're going to want to stay tuned for some more tech talk right here on the Mountain Morning Show. Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. As we were on the break, we're just telling the woes of what it's like to be an entrepreneur and some of the things that you almost got and didn't get. And that's why you want to make sure you get in early with your product, and you need some help. There's no doubt it's an impossible task on your own, which is why I'm so happy that Transcend is here to talk about this, because their think tank coming up, Missy, tell us about that. This is ideal for somebody like that.
Yeah, we are having this next Thursday, November 9th, in Ogden, in our space, and it's called Tech Tank Ogden. So if you want to come, you can go to Tech Tank Ogden and register on Eventbrite. It's free. But we did this so we could help bring some attention to Ogden, because it has a lot of exciting stuff going on up there.
Yeah.
And we wanted to help innovators have a way to get going. And so we are doing a competition based loosely off of like Shark Tank.
Sure.
And but you don't have to have a prototype. It was a concept, was something to do with tech.
So you come into the drawing, or just an idea in your head?
Yes.
Sounds like.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
But it wasn't that simple, because they have to do a whole business plan and do the pre-marketing. And
Wow.
we offered classes. They're online on the website if you want to see them. And it was helping them with the marketing beforehand and preparing financials and a business plan, and then preparing your pitch. Trevor Welch from Tava Capital taught that, and who will be one of our panelists. And EMS is sponsored with us to donate a run of the circuit board after we design it. We are donating 10,000 of our services to design the circuit board, or the electrical part. And then White Clouds, I don't know if people know this, but they're the largest 3D printing company in the world, and it's right there in Ogden. Yeah, and they're donating.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
I always say, yeah, it's great. The folks in the Silicon Slopes, they're doing they can make all the GUIs and all the programming for all this stuff.
Right.
But in Ogden, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where we're making some stuff.
That's
Some actual
right.
physical
We do.
product.
No, we do. Yep, it's awesome. So,
really terrific.
So we would love people to come out and support it. We have I think we have a few really good applicants. They were weeded out when they saw how much work was required
Right.
to do before we would even let them get into the running. So we're like, well, that's too much work. And I'm like, well, then you're probably doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, you got to either love it or just don't do it.
That's right. So we're excited.
Well, we were talking a little bit about the history of EMS, and that's a guy who loved it enough to try to do it. And
Right.
wanted to win bad enough to make a board to make his car win. Right. It's amazing how much you guys have done up there. I kind of just want to, in just to wrap up all of this, because you guys are really the main, I mean, you're really the big manufacturer up there when it comes down to boards. Talk about some of the exciting things that you guys are seeing come through. What are some of the things that you've been like, wow, this is awesome?
You know, there's a lot of really interesting things that have come through. One of our very first customers is now our largest customer. It's an RF company.
Yeah.
Of course, I can't share their name
Yeah,
for obvious
it's all
reasons,
good.
but it's kind of fun to be in this business, because you see the new stuff coming
The
up.
Internet of Things that we're seeing.
Right.
Huge sector.
Yeah, and so we do a lot of work for the military.
Yeah.
We're seeing some medical products, a lot of consumer, but it's exciting, you know, to be a part of that, and every day brings a new challenge, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, and for you, that's going and finding some of them, along
Right.
with the folks with Transcend Innovations. This is kind of a really good partnership for you, because that's what you do.
Absolutely, and Utah's a great place. You know, it's kind of becoming the next Silicon Valley, if you will. You mentioned Silicon Slopes, and
Yeah.
you know, which seems more geared for software. We're trying to edge our way into there to be more hardware as well. But yeah, there's a lot of technology going on. There's a lot of cool stuff.
It's pretty exciting. You guys are finding all the new people. He's getting them the actual hardware, and then we're sending it down the road to Provo, and they're programming it. It's kind of ideal. Better than that.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah,
A lot of
Well,
good stuff going on.
again, the Tech Tank, it's in Ogden, November 9th. Okay.
7 p.m.
Definitely want to get some people out there to kind of get an idea. If you're thinking about this, if you want to be an innovator, you are an innovator, and you're just looking for the next, for your next product, you're thinking about what I want to do next, then you want to come and actually just see what other people are doing and kind of get an idea of what the process is. That's what they're going to get by coming and being part of it, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yep,
I'm
we're
excited.
looking forward to it.
We are
Well,
excited.
Geeks Unite. It's time to head to Ogden for Tech Tank. And of course, you can always just join us here on the Mountain Morning Show, where we like to talk tech a lot here as well.